just live from Isibania. So I'm going to dive onto something very crucial, that is rearing of pigs. So when I talk about rearing of pigs, this is a venture that I usually motivate people to do this venturing. Basically, when I talk about venturing in this pig farming, yeah, a lot of people will ask me that why pig farming? The reason why people should venture into pig farming is this, yeah. One of the reasons is because of actually what we call production of milk, for production of meat. So when I'm talking about production of meat, so that means they convert meat more efficient as compared to other animals. Another reason why you should venture to pig farming is about actually in terms of piglet, yeah. Remember, pigs can give you a very large litter size. What do I mean by litter size? Litter size is all about something like the piglets, the the number of piglets that you get from one pig, which means the number of piglets can be around 8 to 16, depending on the breed of these the breed of these pigs that you venture in, yeah. As I'm proceeding, let me just wish every individual that at least who is a mother a happy Mother's Day. Yeah, today we are just celebrating what we call the Mother's Day. So I'm just wishing every individual happy Mother's Day. So I was talking about something about why pig farming. Another thing is because pig farming, you have a wider option of feeding, yeah. So that means you can feed a lot of things, because these pigs can feed a lot of the things. So I've scheduled my schedule that I'll be handling one topic at a time, then I go to the comment section, I do the comment section, then I go to another topic, that at the end of the day at least we will have learned something. So now I'm just covering a topic of Hawaii pig farming. So I've already talked about meat production. I've talked about the number of piglets. I've talked about another thing I've talked about is just about it was about okay, litter size that I was handling. So just let me now greet people, because I was just talking about why pig farming. So I can see I have here Lucas the Traveler said hi. I have here Fusion Facts said hi. I have here Forever Humble has greeted me. Mambo VP, Mambo VP kaka, salama kabisa. I have here Msimo Joel who has greeted me here. Hi Msimo Joel, welcome to the board. Then okay, I'll handle every topic, so I'll be diving to topic by topic. So I've completed something about why people should raise these pigs. The last thing that I can say why I encourage people to raise these pigs is about actually the space. Yeah, it requires a little space as compared to other animal. So that's all about why pig farming. Yeah, even market demand. Market demand. We have a lot of market demand here in Kenya, which we cannot actually satisfy. Mostly, like let's say here where I come from, Kuria, that is in Isibania, we don't have a lot of pigs, and I think people are just scared about actually this venture. I don't know why. Then I can read your question. Is pork commonly consumed in Kenya? Yes, a lot of people consume pork in Kenya, because actually we have some pork cities. People call them pork cities in Kenya, where basically we get the meat from the meat from pig is what we call pork. So we have a lot of pork centers in Kenya where people roast some pork, others maybe fry some pork. So we have a lot of them here. Then I can see, hi Banito. Okay, I can see Banito here. Fix hairline, yeah. Fix hairline. I can't understand anything about hairline. Okay, see here silently, yeah. Okay, I here silently. I don't know. I don't know what is the problem, because I can see some comments here. I don't know what is happening. So another topic that I'll be handling is about actually about breeds of pigs that we have. So I'll just measure on some of the breeds of pigs that majority of people keep. Where I'll start, I can see here, hola, this is Antonia Lunga Source. Welcome on board. Look at the Trevor, yes, forever humble. Then, okay, Musimo, yeah, I can see now you people are greeting each other. So I'm going to the second topic, where I'm going to talk about the breed of pigs that we have. Mostly we have the local breeds of pig and the exotic breed of pig. In the local breeds of pig, we have the large black, and the Makota. Those are the local breeds of pig. Then in exotic breed of pig that are raised especially here, we have the large white, and we have the landrace white. We have the landrace, both the landrace and the large white are white in color. But to differentiate these two breeds of pigs, you look at the ears. Yeah, the large white has erected ears. When I'm talking about erected ears, it means that the ears are this way, yeah. But the landless, that it has the drooping wings, the drooping ears. So they are this way, yeah. So that's how you can differentiate between these two pigs. Another pig that we have with the Duroc. Duroc is basically reddish brown in color with some white markings. Then another breed that is kept here, mostly that I've seen, I'll talk about Hampshire, that is basically black with a white strip. So I'm done about pig breeds, but I can just elaborate something about their characteristics. Before I go to characteristic of every individual, let me just read some text here, then we proceed. Yeah, I can see here Antonia Holla. Okay, please give the live stream a like. Yeah, we can go and give this live stream a like, because you just tap the screen, then I'll see something like a like there app has been added. So I was really talking about now the characteristic of each breed. Yeah, when I'm talking about these breeds of pigs. So we have this breed that we call the large white. For this large white, basically, one of the characteristics, I'll just say the major characteristics. One of the major characteristics is because it has a very good bacon. Bacon, I know a lot of people have taken bacon. Actually, bacon, this is meat from a pig, and mostly come from the belly. Yeah, you know, the belly here near the stomach, and sometimes on the back, so which is just salted and done what is called curing. Yeah, once cured, so it become a very good meat, and a lot of people like it, especially during the breakfast time. Yeah, then I'm going to tell you about the landrace. Yeah, landrace is known for a good mothering ability. Yeah, though that means it actually keeps the kids very well up to maturity. Another breed that I can talk about is the Duroc. Yeah? This Duroc, the advantage of this Duroc is about the meat quality. It has a very good meat quality. Then I'll talk about the Hampshire. The Hampshire, the advantage of this Hampshire is the quality of the carcass. Yeah, when I'm talking about quality of the carcass, that means that the quality of the meat from there. So that's all about this breed for pigs. Then I'm going to dive into housing of pigs. When I'm talking about housing of pig, this is things that we have to put in our mind. One of the things that we should know about housing of this pig, irrespective of your design on how you want to raise this pig, there are some considerations that you have to put at least when designing this thing. One of the consideration is about actually the good ventilation. So this housing must be having very good ventilation, so that to allow free flow of air, so that at least a good aeration inside there keeps these pigs very healthy. Another thing, while constructing these housing, yeah, we have to put into You are a teacher, bravo. Thank you, Bonito. Yeah, I really appreciate. Another thing that we have to put into the consideration when we are just raising these pigs is about actually the floor. So if you can't do something like a raised floor, when I'm talking about a raised floor, I'm talking about you putting your floor in a such a way that it is raised from the ground. Let's say that this is the ground. You have to start building where you will put the floor from here, especially made from maybe timbers. Then you will put some timbers. That is the raised floor. But sometimes people put something like a floor that is on the ground. Yeah, there is. I'll tell you the reasons why I wouldn't recommend why a person should put the floor on the ground. Okay, the floor of the ground, when you want to put that type of floor, you have to put this consideration on your mind. You have to place a bedding. What do I mean like a bedding? The way somebody is actually is sleeping on a mattress. You have to put this pig that comfort, yeah? Give it that comfort, because you know the floor the way it is, because most of these floors are made of concrete. Because they are concrete, remember concrete tries to this bonito tung tung tung. So I can't understand that. I only know Swahili and English, but I don't understand that. But you can elaborate that in English, then I'll handle that what you are asking about. Give a video. Yes, let's give this video a like, because we are just learning here. Let's keep on learning, because I'm just training us about pigs. You can just ask questions as I am proceeding, actually guiding us through this venture about pig farming. So I was talking about floor. So when you are constructing the floor, let's say the ground floor, yeah, just make sure that you just make it as comfortable as possible because of the coldness. Yeah, remember this: when a pig sleeps down, it predisposes this pig to some cases like pneumonia. Apart from this, you know, pigs like digging down. Yeah, when I'm talking about digging down with their snout, yeah, their mouth part is called a snout. So that means you'll get a pig that is just taking its mouth part, then actually rubbing the floor, and with that you can get that at the end of the day, because that snout is very turgid. You can get at that time, yeah, it can do a lot of it can destroy that floor. Somebody is asking, do you vaccinate a pig? Yes, there are some vaccination about pigs, and I'll have to handle that, but I can just tell you there is a vaccination against what we call RSV spellers. And apart from that, there is African swine fever, and even vaccination about the FMD, that is foot and mouth. It should be vaccinated to these pigs. So those are the vaccines that pigs should be vaccinated again. We also have other vaccines, yeah. So make sure you vaccinate your pig. So I was talking about the housing, yeah. I was talking about the difference between having a floor that is down and the floor that is raised. Another thing about the down floor, that is the down floor, you have to put a very proper drainage, where the floor should be slanting to one side. This is to enable the drainage, because you know at the end of the day that pig will poo there, it will urinate there. So that means the floor has to be it should be slanted so that it is draining towards one direction. That's it about floor. Okay, another thing about why I encourage the raised floor is this, yeah. When the floor is raised, when these pig maybe urinate, it goes down the ground, yeah. Another thing is about when they poop, it goes down the ground. It avoids dampness, yeah. That means if there is one of the most cleanest animal in this world is the pig, because of this, the pig usually actually has a specific place where it places its droppings. It does not go just maybe defecating any other place in that premise that it says. It has a specific point where it selects here, and it has, some people in my country believe that pig meal is clean the same. So I was now handling that, yeah. One of the cleanest animal in this world is the pig, because, and when I'm talking about one of the cleanest, I'll tell you why even pigs are dirty at the same time. But one of the cleanest animal is this pig. Yeah, it depends on the way you raise these pigs. Yeah, because when you choose to make these animals happy, you bring clean water, you give them clean meal, So that means at the end of the day you'll be having clean, actually your pigs will be very clean. So with that you get your meat and the entire thing will be very clean. But remember, this species of an animal, if you decide to take them to the muddy, it will show you how to play with that muddiness, yeah, until they will dirtify their place. There is a volume. So that means there is a, actually it will play with this muddy and dirtify itself with dirtify itself. That's the reason why people are saying that pig is very dirty. And what pigs eat, especially these pigs eat, actually this pig eat a wide variety of things, especially when you leave it maybe to graze outside at a free range. You can get it maybe loitering around eating anything that it sees. So somebody asked, are these pigs carnivorous? Okay, pigs are omnivorous, so that means they can feed both on vegetation, and they can feed on maybe meat and any other thing. Remember, this type of animal, yeah, it eats what it gets. But if you decide, because a lot of people give them maybe if you give them grains, they will feed on. If you give them grass, they will feed on. If you give them meat, they will feed on. For them, it is like everything is edible, yeah. What I mean by edible, that everything can be eaten by them, yeah. So that's why a lot of people can mistake these pigs to be carnivorous. There are some cases here where pigs have been seen eating human. The way I've said, yeah, especially when it gets maybe a carcass somewhere, it will proceed feeding that. And in some cases you will get that even if you leave a child, yeah, you know, these are meant to eat, most of these pigs eat a lot of dirt, and when they're eating this dirt, it means they can eat anything, including fecal materials, even some apart from even some fetus. So that's why people say that they eat everything. If it get a dead body there, it will feed on. So it depends on how you raise them, and actually to avoid many of instances, because some of these pigs are very aggressive. That's why we usually recommend pigs, when they're small, you just do what we call tooth clipping, yeah. That is the cutting of the tooth for the pigs. When you cut tooth, you get that most of them, they will be harmless when they are grown, because they will not be having those sharp teeth to bite people. So when I was handling something about housing, because I've not seen another question that I can handle, I was handling about housing, yeah. Chino Moja said hi. Yeah, hi to Chino Moja, welcome. Let's watch so that we can support this channel, yeah. So I was talking something about housing. Another thing is about biosecurity, yeah. Pigs are very delicate. When I'm talking about biosecurity, so that means you have to prevent visitors from coming to the premises for where pigs are, because of some of the diseases, yeah, because such as African swine fever, they can be infected, yeah? Is bacon production big in Kenya? No. Bacon in Kenya, I've not even seen bacon in Kenya, but I know something about bacon. I saw only once in Nairobi, yeah, which is a good, actually that's a good meat, because I've just said that bacon, actually just to elaborate something about bacon, bacon comes from the belly, yeah? You know the belly, the stomach area of the pig, yeah? There is where you get that bacon, and sometimes the back of the pig. And what happens to be called that bacon is all about, it is being salted and done what is curing. After that, it will be ready to the market, yeah. That is all about bacon. So I was talking about biosecurity. When I'm talking about biosecurity, make sure that you have some foot bath where at least somebody disinfect his legs before getting into the where the pigs are. Apart from that, do proper fencing. That means avoiding predators, yeah, coming where these pigs are, because we have some predators such as dogs, because sometimes you can get these pigs fighting with dogs. But remember, these pigs are delicate as compared to the dogs, because the dogs have they are carnivorous. They're meant to eat meat. So that means when they come there, that means they will be preying on these actually pigs. Another thing that I'm going to handle is about actually something about breeding, yeah, breeding and reproduction of pigs. just okay. One thing that you should know about breeding these pigs, I usually tell people when you want to venture to this pig farming, you must have a plan. And when you want to venture to this type of farming, make sure you take your parent stock. Yeah, the first stock you take, just take it from especially a reputable source that you know this is a perfect breed. Yeah, once you take a good breed, that means you'll be achieved something that we call genetics. Yeah, genetics plays fundamental role in terms of in animals. Yeah, this is the reason. When you have good genetics, you will achieve fast growth. When you have good genetics, you will achieve what we call good mothering ability. So that means raising piglet for these ones will be easy to them. When you achieve good genetics, it means in terms of giving birth, that is for pigs we call the giving birth, we call it farrowing. Yeah, so farrowing is the giving birth for pig. Once you achieve that, you will get that when this pig farrows, it can give you as many piglet as possible, because I usually put a bracket that 8 to around 16. Yeah, when you get 8 to these number of piglet. Yeah, that means that you will be in business, and at the end of the day people want to venture into business. That's why I encourage people to take good breeds from reputable source, because there you are going to take something like a high quality that it can sustain you, and at least for the prosperity, because this is not a venture that you just wake one day and go to that venture. You must be having a plan. Yeah, good quality will last longer to that farm, but poor quality will make that farm actually, it will actually make that farm collapse. So just take good quality, and that's it. So I was talking about the puberty. Yeah, the stage that pigs mature actually best is around 6 to 8 months. Yeah, with 6 to 8 months after being birth, those pigs are ready to be served so that they can give birth. Yeah? Male, they start riding at around 6 months. Female, I usually recommend around 7 to 8 months. That is the best time that you can do breeding for them. And when you are doing breeding, yeah, avoid something that we call inbreeding. Inbreeding, let me elaborate something about inbreeding. Inbreeding is when you are just doing something like crossing pigs from the same lineage. Yeah? When you cross, let's say, sisters to sisters, mother to son, mother maybe to another, maybe something like related. Yeah, never do something that you cross what is related, because you will reduce. When you do inbreeding, you will be having these the following consequences. Yeah, hello Farmer Hisa, welcome to board. I'm just talking about pigs, and I hope you'll enjoy, because even me, I'm a farmer. That's why I'm calling myself Farm with Maxwell. Yes, welcome to board. At what age are pigs recommended for consumption? Okay, what I can recommend, something for as long as it achieve around 6 months. But I've seen people slaughtering pigs at around 5 months, others 4 months, 3 months. Yeah, but when a pig is fully matured, that means that is the best time to slaughter these pigs. I can see Rogers on board. Rogers Kilia, welcome to board. Greetings from Kisii, Kenya. Yes, welcome kaka. Mambo vipi? Okay, mambo kaka Isa. Yes, welcome. Great, thank you. Okay, I can see those texts. So I was talking about something like these greetings, brother Humble and Roger Skill. Yeah, it is good to know each other, the way each other is thriving in this world, which is something very good, and that is something very fantastic. So I was handling about breeding. Yeah, breeding and reproduction. So I was talking about something like inbreeding. Avoid inbreeding at all costs, because these will make your farm fall. Because of this, yeah, when you do what is called inbreeding, one of the challenges that we will be having is mortality rate. Yeah, mortality rate is the death rates in your farm. So make sure to avoid death rates. Have quality pigs, and with that you'll be achieve what you are doing. Another thing that you have to focus on when one thing that you have to avoid in breeding is about growth rate. Yeah, These breeds that you have done inbreeding, in terms of growth rate, they will mature very slowly, and you can see some of them thin. They are not becoming, they are becoming not really a common diet. Okay, so that means in terms of maturity will take time. So when I'm handling about breeding, so okay, to avoid this, make sure that when you are breeding, you are these are about something about your pigs. Yeah, nowadays we have something that we call artificial insemination for pigs. So what do I mean by the word artificial insemination? Artificial insemination, that is when you have it's just inseminating this pig, mating this pig in an artificial way. What do I mean by artificial way? This is when there are some semen. Okay, we have semen production centers in Kenya, like the Farmer's Choice. They have, that is a production center. Somebody can get some of the semen from those institutions so that they can come inseminate their pig. Remember, those semens have been tested, they have been certified, so that can be used with these farmers. And one thing about those semen, those are quality semen. Once you achieve these quality semen, yeah, you are good to go, because you'll expand your farm to some good extent, and at the end of it, this venture will be very profitable. So another thing that I'm going to handle here about these pigs is about management practices. Yeah, even if, before I dive into management practices, let me just tell you some of the maybe words that are being used in this pig farming that maybe you can hear me saying. Yeah, we have a word like so is a female pig. Then we have something like a boa. Boa is a female, is a male pig that is mature. Then we have something like, you can hear somebody calling something like a gilt. Gilt, when somebody says about gilt, this is a female pig that has not given birth. Then we have something like barrow. When somebody tells you you are a barrow, that means you have been castrated. Yeah, barrow means this is a castration. Yeah, when something is castrated, that means it is barrow. Then I was talking something about farrowing. Yeah, the act of giving birth for pigs. Then I can talk about pork is just meat from pig. Then bacon, I've just talked about that twice. That means this is a meat that has been salted and it has been done what is called curing. Then especially this meat comes from the belly and sometimes from there. You eat pork. Yeah, for me, I consume pork. It is a delicious meal, a lot of fat in it, and I enjoy eating that, because even sometimes I go searching for pork meat. Yeah, sometimes you can even be having cravings on how to take maybe pork meat. Yeah, and I usually like pork meat. I like pork meat. So I want to talk something about management practices of pig. Do people consume warthog and it is considered pork? Yeah, warthog is just a class of, it is just one of the classes of these, we call, this is from a Swiss family. So that means warthog can become from that. But in the warthog, you know, that is a wild animal. So in Kenya, we have a lot of regulations about wild animals. First, you have to seek for permission so that you can slaughter these warthog. And another thing, we don't encourage hunting, especially the wild animals. If you just go, if the KWS, that is Kenya Wildlife Services in Kenya, get you actually hunting the warthog, you'll be in for it. So that's why me personally, I don't encourage people hunting down wild animals, because you know, we have to keep these animals, because for them, they must be having freedom for life. They must be having, we must give them food. We must give them maybe freedom to exercise themselves. Yeah, you can see some warthogs here running up and down. Remember, they're just exercising themselves. So let's guide them, let's guard them, so that we cannot put these species to actually that we call distinction. No? So another thing about these species of warthog, about there is something that we usually call that cut. There is something that is this possibility to crossbreed domestic pig at wild hog. There is not a possibility because okay, something about this crossbreeding, yeah. Remember, there is something that we call chromosomes. Specific animals has specific number of chromosomes, so that means it is not possible. What can be done is just going to the lab, taking this trait from this animal, just combining with this trait for another animal. That is just in the lab, yeah. You combine these two traits, then you come up with something, at least something from that. That is how this something about animals work, that genetics, these genes, yeah, work. You cannot just cross. You cannot take a pig from here, then you take that wild hog from here, then you try doing mating to them so that you can it can't be get pregnant, but not anyone to be found nowadays. Okay, yeah, I was handling about, so I was talking about maybe management, yeah. You serve me pork when I visit. Yes. Wait, oh, that is for Famahisa. You can respond to that. Me, okay. If you come to me, you say you want pork, I'm ready to offer you pork. Yeah. So I was now talking about management practices of pig. So one of the management practices, so I'll start from the piglets. So for the piglet, when they are born, one of the things that we usually recommend when these let's say the sow is it wants to give birth, make sure that you do what we call, you have to confine it in such a way that you do not, you need a mix of, and so that means you are not to you are supposed to confine these pig in such a way that it cannot sleep on the piglets, yeah. We have been having a lot of cases about the bigger pig sleeping on these the smaller ones and killing them, especially when you know you are not around, yeah. There is a specific way that you can construct this thing just to allow the pigs to allow the pig just to sleep down and maybe lying on the side way, yeah? But you can't allow it to move side by side. It only takes maybe one rotation. If it's this side, it has to stick to that. If it's this side, you have to stick to that. A lot of people call that crate. You just place it there inside and just allow one side movement. When you achieve something like that, at least in terms when it is giving birth, at least the kids can get out with no maybe sleeping with them. So that means in terms of mortality rate, you will have reduced. Another thing is about when the piglets are out, make sure you disinfect the navel, yeah? You see when they are being given birth, yeah? You can see there is an extension in the on the belly, yeah? You can get that there's some there is an extension that is there which we call the navel. Make sure you disinfect properly, or if it is very long, yeah, just take something like a clipper or a pegs, you place there, then you cut from the side, then you just dip it in the, let's say, iodine. By dipping it in iodine, iodine makes, that place is more of it has a lot of fat, yeah. When you dip in iodine, at least iodine has those components that can make that place really dry, yeah. It will be very dry and you can really appreciate. Remember when they have it's chopped or in Kenya. So for pork here in Kenya, it is not that expensive as compared maybe to cattle meat. It is not that expensive because it is not expensive. So just to respond to that question, remember I'm just responding, this is question and answer. Once you text any question there, I'll respond to it. The way after responding to it, I'll just proceed with what I was talking. So I was talking about management practices of a sow, where I've talked about placing something that at least to restrict movement. Another thing is about feeding a sow, yeah. Feed a sow with a sow and winner meal. We have sow and winner meal in the market that is which is very good. It is very nutritious, and with feeding them, it has all the component, yeah. Remember when the sow is pregnant, it requires a lot of energy, yeah. Pushing those piglets, giving birth is not an easy thing, yeah. So you have to feed it well. So another management practice of about a piglet is about iron injection. When you are doing iron injection, the reason for doing iron injection is this, yeah. Many of these piglet when they are being born, yeah, they don't have a lot of iron on their body. I remember this iron is the one that does pig to be having fast growth rate. It builds immunity. When these pigs don't have that iron in their body, there is a possibility of them dying. Mortality rate will be very high. That means they will become anemic. What do I mean by anemic? That is loss of blood. Yeah, they won't be having a lot of blood in their body so that to sustain themselves. So with that, we have to do what we call supplementation for iron, and this one is done especially in the first to third day of life. The reason why we are supplementing this, when these remember, the the mother has no enough iron in its body because it has around 50 milligrams of iron which cannot sustain these. Remember, most of these pigs, iron comes from the soil. Yeah, most of these pigs when they are maybe pregnant, yeah, giving them maybe soil and the entire thing, them accessing to this soil that has a lot of iron is very hard to them. So that is why we usually recommend supplementation. Our supplementation for this is just injection of iron. We have both oral iron and the injectable iron. I usually prefer injectable iron because it goes to the system directly and faster as compared to, because we now have some supplementation of oral iron that for me, I usually don't recommend because it takes time so that to be assimilated in the body. But when you give the injection for iron, it goes directly to the animal, and at least you will see that significant impact to that piglet. And in terms of maturity, it will be very fast. In terms of maybe growth rate, it will be very fast. In terms of strength, it will be very strong, and it won't be anemic that I was saying, yeah. And the immunity will be very strong. So that's all about pig. Another thing, it is about tooth clipping. Yeah, tooth clipping is the cutting of the tooth of these piglet. What do I mean by cutting of the tooth? When these pigs are born, it has some tooth on it, or some teeth on its mouth. When you leave those teeth the way they are, one of the things that it can do those teeth is harming the mother. Yeah, remember, these tooth are very sharp, and these piglets, they will go on suckling. Yeah, when they are suckling their mother, you will get that they will be causing injury. This is a teeth here. When it is sucking, you get that it will be causing a lot of injury there. That's why I have a script where the mother was just putting in a bending posture. Yeah, it is trying to hide the teeth from the kids because of the pain, because it was feeling a lot of pain. So when it's feeling a lot of pain through suckling and the entire thing, that's why we are cutting those teeth. Another thing is about injury. When they grow to maturity, yeah, when those teeth are there, you can get it, they will be looking like this way. You see, this way. Those pigs will be looking that way. Will be seeing those teeth here protruding outside, and this is very dangerous, especially for the wild wild, because when these pigs are very wild, they can chase you, and if they can bite you, they can even break your body. Yeah? So make sure you do what we call tooth clipping. Another very reason for doing this is about attacking themselves. These piglets are very playful. Yeah, they can attack one another. So when they are attacking, they are using their teeth. Yeah, so make sure you don't allow them to be having these tooth. Another, to restrict those, something about being playful. Yeah, you can have a chain. Yeah, there are some farmers placing chains on their pig houses so that these kids can be playing with these chains so that to keep them busy. Yeah? Keeping them busy is something good. Yeah, they can go biting this chain. At least it keep them. Even for this, actually, for another thing about having chain in their house, because it makes them not make a lot of noise. It makes them think that this is food for them. So when they try biting, it keeps them busy, forgetting that they are supposed to feed. So make sure you get some chain for your pigs so that you can just hang on their houses so that to be playing with them there and there. Another thing about pigs, you can do what we call tail docking for pigs. This is the cutting of pigs. When you cut these pigs, yeah, Remember these pigs, especially the smaller one, they like fighting and biting the tail. Once they see something is hanging, this is the tail hanging here, so you'll get that another piglet is just coming to bite this tail. Yeah, so make sure that you cut that tail. Yeah? When you cut to some extent, you don't cut the whole of it. You have to remain. You have to cut in such a way that you leave another tail. Once you cut them, make sure you disinfect that place so that you cannot get it cannot get some infection. Another management of piglets that I usually see people doing, yeah, is something like castration. Castration, I told you, a castrated pig is called barrow. So castrated pig, the reason for castration is about actually to control inbreeding. And apart from controlling inbreeding, is something like there is this hormone, yeah. When you don't castrate your pigs, there are some people say that this meat from this pig, it has some smelling, yeah. So to avoid that, make sure you castrate the pig. But when you are castrating a pig, check for a defect called hernia. You know, there is something called a scrotal hernia. Once you get a scrotal hernia, you can't castrate that piglet. Yeah. Once you do that, you'll be killing that because the entire component that will be in that hernia will be pouring out. With that is very dangerous. It will lead to death. And bleeding, you cannot control a bleeding that is in a hernia because, yeah. And another thing, you have to check for what is called cryptozoism. Yeah, that is, you can get a piglet, yeah, as only one testis. Yeah, you can get only one testis in a piglet. That is not you cannot use that one for breeding. So make sure that for such a scenario you have to get rid for that. Another times you can get an ascending. You can get that the testicles, instead of being in a position that they can be seen, that they're inside hiding. Yeah, we call it is ascending testis. Yeah, for that one you cannot use that breed for breeding. Another thing that I'm going to talk about is just hygiene. Make sure where they are sleeping. I was telling you that one of the cleanest animal in this world is about the pigs. Apart from being one of the cleanest animals, is the one of the dirtiest animal. It depends on how you raise them. When you raise them in a clean environment, they will feel much appreciable. They will be clean. Yeah. Me myself, I don't raise any animal, and I'll tell you the reason when I'll be concluding. Yeah, but for now we are just getting to learn and learn. I'm going to talk about something like feeding pigs. Somebody asked me here if these pigs are carnivorous. So what I can talk about, these pigs are omnivorous, so that means they can feed both meat and they can feed both apart from feeding on meat, they can feed on vegetables and the entire thing, the kitchen waste. So when you venture to this farming, make sure that you supplement your pigs with a lot of things. Guys, remember to just tap so that we can like these we can like this what I'm doing for now, just this training, because I can see we have 6 likes. Remember, by the end of this session I would like to see we have at least 20 likes, which is it will be much appreciable. Yeah, let's just like so that I can get like, and we can share these live so that I can get a lot of people here joining this live, because it's basically for educational purpose. I'm just training these farmers, I'm training these clients. So let us engage. Yeah, remember, I'm just waiting for questions. There are some proceeding. So I was talking something about feeding. So when it comes to feeding these pigs, make sure you give them the proteins. So a lot of proteins we have in the market, like the soya meal. We have something like we have the soya meal, we have the sunflower cake, we have the canola. Make sure you give them protein. Give them something that we call carbohydrate for energy. Yeah? So for carbohydrate, we have something like pollard, maize germ, we have meat bran, and make sure you supplement them with vitamins and minerals, especially the calcium. Yeah. Also, you can give them premixes. We have special premixes for these pigs. Make sure you give them these premixes so that at least they can thrive well. They at least they can build their muscles well. That's all about feeding. If somebody has a question about, okay, you can, there are some other feeds, yeah, like the kitchen waste, you can still give them to pigs. Yes, you can give them to pigs. So I'm going to handle something about diseases. So when I'm handling about diseases, one of the diseases that people that affect this venture is about African swine fever. How do you know that this is a African swine fever? One of the things that you have to identify in knowing this African swine fever is all about it's all about looking at the symptoms. One of the symptoms is high fever. What do I mean by high fever? The temperatures are up. So when I'm talking about temperatures are up, so that means the temperature is increased. Then when you look at the body, is somehow start to be like a purplish in color. What do I mean like purplish in color? That is just self-explanatory. Another thing that you can see is just something like a bloody diarrhea coming from this pig, and you can see this pig, it is now becoming thin and emaciated. And another thing is about death. You get a lot of death when it comes to it. I'm just waiting for a question so that I can respond to questions. I was trying to check for these questions so that I can really handle something about question. Or you people are just waiting for me to finish, then we start now question and answer. Question and answer, no problem. Yeah, I'm just left with some few topics about pigs. Then we now dive into question and answer, and something like engagement. You tell me some question that I'll be responding. Yeah, so I was talking about the diseases. I've now talked about African swine fever. African swine fever, if you want to prevent this, avoid swill. What is these swill? Swill are the remains, yeah, especially from kitchen. You go collect some food from somewhere, you bring that food to these pigs, it will cause that. Another thing is hygiene, yeah. Make sure you observe biosecurity. What do I mean by biosecurity? Prevent the predators, prevent visitors from coming to where they, remember these visitors have just come to see you, they have not come to see the pigs. So avoid whichever animal, avoid visitors coming to your where your animals are, because it will create a lot of problem to them. It will especially the disease. Remember, when they are coming with a lot of bacteria, yeah. But for African swine fever, these are viral infection, yeah. Just do vaccination, you'll be done with it. Another thing is hog cholera, yeah. Hog cholera, its symptoms is about bloody diarrhea. Then I'll talk about something like that word is very good. I can't even talk about that. It starts with, I only know about the spelling. It starts with ERY, then it proceeds. Yeah. For that you can see something like bloody diarrhea. Then you can see the joints are swollen, and the only remedy for that is about actually vaccination. And another thing about another disease about this venturing to pig that can affect you, it is about dysentery. Yeah? This is pig dysentery. Dysentery itself means diarrhea. Now diarrhea, when it starts diarrheaing, these are bacterial infection. Yeah? When it starts diarrhea, make sure that this animal is actually it is treated. Another thing, another disease that affects pigs is something like a coccidiosis. Yeah, so coccidiosis actually it comes because of hygiene. Yeah, where you see that there is a bloody diarrhea. It affects a lot of animals, even the poultry. All animals are being affected with coccidiosis. Another disease that I'll talk about is about pneumonia. Pneumonia, that means this is a respiratory infection, basically from it is basically from mycoplasma bacteria. So for pigs, you can vaccinate against pneumonia so that your pigs can thrive really well. Another thing that I'm going to talk about pigs is about maybe the routine management. Yeah, make sure you do what we call deworming. Yeah, the reason for deworming is about parasitic infection. So parasitic infection will affect the growth of your pigs. For me, maybe one day when I'll be having animals, I'll be having a calendar. The day that I'm deworming myself is the same day that I'll be deworming my animals, because sometimes people forget this thing because people love themselves. So make sure that when you're deworming yourself, look at your animals, have them dewormed. Yeah? With that, you'll be achieving this what we call deworming. Another disease that I forgot is about something like called mange. So for mange, the only remedy where you can see the skin, it's starting to have like skin scrapping. Yeah, for that, the only way to control that is making sure that you have a caricide that can control that mange, which is caused by mange mites. Yeah, so make sure you have that, and you'll go okay. In terms of deworming, we have a variety of dewormers. We have injectable dewormers, and we have maybe other dewormers like levamisole. We have other dewormers like albendazole. So make sure you interchange this dewormer. If this time you have used the injectable one, next time try to use another dewormer. With that, you'll be having a healthy pigs. Another thing that I'm going to tackle is about now marketing and economics. So when it comes to marketing and economics, I'll be talking about how to market your pig. Yeah, remember, there in marketing we have ways on how to market these pigs so that you can get a lot of fortune. Yeah, okay. How to market your pig so that you can get a lot of fortune. And what I usually tell people, yeah, the demand for pork is very high in Kenya. Not only Kenya, worldwide. Yeah? So one of the ways you can market these pigs, yeah, is this way. You can sell locally. What do I mean by selling locally? You can sell to maybe butchers so that they can slaughter. You can sell to hotels. You can sell to supermarket because they have somewhere to keep this pork meat refrigerated, so that they can just take when the customer need. Other people wants a lot of money from this venture, where you can do what we call value addition. Remember, when you do value addition, but this requires muscle. Yeah, I'm not talking about this muscle here. That muscle, that means you must be having muscle of money. You have to be having money so that you can do what we call value addition, where you can be slaughtering, add value, pack them in cans, then at least you can export them, you can sell them. Once you can them, at least it can stay for so long, and you cannot lack market for that. That is what we call value addition. Some people do value addition by roasting them, maybe opening a joint where you take that meat, then you just take from farm, you slaughter from farm, you go there, roast it, then at least you have something like a hotel where people will be coming now eating that pork of yours, which is very sweet. Another way that somebody can sell these pigs is for breeding. Yeah, when I'm talking about breeding, selling for breeding, where you sell to another farmer so that he can venture to this profitable venture. So you can do that to other farmers so that you can sell to them. Then at the end of the day, what you need is money. But when you are doing this, you have to do what is called economics. Yeah, you have to know how much profit you make. How do you know how much profit you make? One of the ways of knowing how much profit you make is by, this is one of it. You just do what we call calculation. You must be having what we call records. You have to be having health record, reproduction record, feeding record, all type of things that you do to that farm. Any money that gets out of your pocket to raise these pigs, you must note that down. Yeah, because when you will be selling these piglets, yeah, you must do your calculation to so that you can do what we call, you can make profit through this venturing to this business. Yeah, take all the inputs that you have been, all the money you have been spending to these people. When a veterinarian comes to your homestead, yeah, record it down that this veterinarian came this specific day, treated for this and this disease, and this is how much it costed for this animal to be treated. Once you record this down, when you are now going to sell this pig, yeah, you have, these all things has to count. Yeah, you have to, they have to count. That is why I usually encourage people, when you are venturing to any type of business, have records so that you can track what is happening in this farm. Yeah, once you have the record, you do your calculation, you see, you now budget, you say this one I'll sell it at this much, this one I'll sell it at this much, and that at least you'll be achieving what you require. Now I'm just open to question session so that we can have one-on-one session. I can see a lot of people here. You can ask questions regarding pigs. Yeah? I'm now ready to handle any question when it comes to pig, so that I can maybe you have challenges about venturing to this business. Just ask any question. Me, my work is just guiding you on how to venturing into this business. When I'm waiting for this question, where is Musimo Joel? Yeah, Musimo Joel will be going live at 11 p.m. some around how many hours from now? Around he'll be going live around 3 hours from now. So let's just after here, we just, maybe in Kenya people will be going to take supper. After taking your supper, let's go to Musimo Joel so that actually we can support our brother. Yeah, Musimo Joel, I've done some 2 videos with him. He is one of the dedicated farmers who was just is venturing through this to this to this farming with a lot of passion. This is one of the, actually this is one of the motivating people that I've met in YouTube, especially these of our region, who is dedicated into farming. Make sure that we support our brother in getting subscribers. He has a playlist. We can play the playlist so that he can get watching. He can get watching hours. Same to me. I have a playlist. I need watching hours so that we can become monetized. I'm not monetized, so that we can just play the playlist so I can become monetized. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the question because I don't see any question here that I have not responded to, because it spoke cheap, that one I've responded to. I'm just waiting for other questions so that I can respond to them. Yeah, I don't know where people have gone because I can see a lot of people here, but I'm now waiting for the questions so that I can tackle through those questions. Then we call it the end of okay. Okay, how is it usually prepared in Kenya? Okay, okay. Somebody has asked here, how is this? Is it usually prepared in Kenya? That's about pork. One thing that one way about pork, the way it is being prepared. A lot of people do what we call frying. Yeah, where you don't add any oil, because the way we know, pork has a lot of fat in it. So because it has a lot of fats in it, so you just put just something like a small fire on, okay, small fire, we call it, I think it is called simmer. Yeah, a small fire, then at least the oil in it starts dissolving. It starts actually it just dissolve, it is called, it now becomes soluble. Yeah, and with that you now start spreading so that it can just, we call it in Kiswahili we kukaanga. Once you do that, you just rotate that nani in that its oil, and by that at least it will be cooking itself. Yeah, that's how it is being prepared. It, okay, I'm not a good chef, but I like eating. Yeah, yeah, somebody asked me about if I venture to this animal farming. Me personally, I have not. I don't venture into this farming because of some 1, 2, 3 things. Yeah, because venturing in this farming, you have to be having money for now, I'm not venturing into any animal keeping because I don't have money. Another thing that I usually advise farmers is this: when you want to venture in, let's say, pig farming, yeah, roasted pork, jack pork, stewed pork, or are popular in Jamaica. Yeah, here I can see roasted pork, even the jack pork we have here. The stewed pork, getting it is very hard here in Kenya, but I've seen there is a place in Meru that I saw somebody has done that stewed pork that is taste very sweet. So I was telling that people that farmers that when you want to venture into these pig farming, yeah, this is a venture that you can take it as a supportive venture, mostly for when you have poultry, yeah? When you don't want to incur cost, yeah? There is something that we call supportive venture or a supportive enterprise. Some people call that maybe an integrated venture, where that you get when you integrate both poultry rearing with pig rearing, yeah. This is the reason why you should integrate, yeah, because when you are raising poultry, all the remains from those poultry, you can take them to the pig so that they can feed on it. With that, at least you will not be having a lot of waste to be thrown. Yeah. Another thing, you try as much as possible to avoid waste in your let's say from the kitchen, yeah. When you have waste from the kitchen, you just take to the pig. With that, at least you will have controlled something like feeding. The expense that you'll use in feeding, at least you can be translated to maybe another enterprise, so that at least at the end of the day, actually what you get is profit, yeah. I'm waiting for questions here so that I can respond if there is no any other questions, because I believe that I've trained people to the fullest. So that means I've trained until the questions that have disappeared. So if you have a question, make sure that you put the question here so that I can tackle that question. Remember, today is Mother's Day. Let's wish the mothers the happy day for today, because without them we wouldn't be in this world. They're the ones who brought us to this world, so we really appreciate them. This is our day. This is their day for today, so make sure that we support them in this day for today. Yeah, I'm waiting for more questions so that we can end this live. Yeah, I'm just waiting for questions. If you have a question, just drop there. I'll tackle that question, yeah? Especially for pigs. Today I'm handling something about pigs. The next time I'll be handling something about poultry. That I'll be handling something about raising poultry. So I'm just concluding this live. I really appreciate you people for the time that we have been in this live. So make sure if you are watching and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, where I am focused about keeping animals, just subscribe to that YouTube channel. But don't ask me why don't I keep animals. Yeah, I have just told you that the reason is about these animals require funds to buy. This animal requires a place to stay. That means it needs land. These animals require to sustain their themselves. So that means I have to feed these animals. So with that, it cannot be achieved minus somebody having money. So I can see we still have Lucas the Traveler here. So make sure we support Lucas the Traveler. He was having a live today. I was having a live with him where we were having a good, actually a good serene environment. That the background was full of vegetation, that is forest, which a lot of people, I'll encourage a lot of people so that we can have vegetation like that, because with that we can actually, with the trees, we can purify the air that we are breathing in. Yeah. So because there is no any other question, what I can do, I'm now going to end this live session for now, because I have to prepare the next session that I'll be having somebody, a good friend of mine that you can check him out, that is called Musimo Musimo Joel. Just check him there so that you can subscribe and just do the playlist. Just play the playlist so that I can get monetized. Same as to me, I really require this monetization. So play my playlist so that I can be monetized. For now, let me wind there. Thank all you people for being there. Unless somebody has a question, yeah. Is somebody having a question? I cannot see. Okay, that is enough for today. Let me wind this video so that I can prepare myself so that I can join another live from the other side. Thank you guys. Make sure you like, and I really appreciate. I can see Farmer Isa. Okay, look at the travel is talking about Farmer Isa. Yes, I can see love for me. Just make sure you like, like there. You can see where there is a option for liking. Make sure that you like there so that I can get a lot of likes. So let me just end there. Then I call it a day. Goodbye for now. Goodbye, people. Until the next session that I'll be having a live. Goodbye. Goodbye and bye.